Chazak Baruch, good morning. This morning, being the third day of Nissan, we're going to do, after the halacha, the Nasi Liyom HaShlishi, the prince of the tribe of Zevulun, which today, when the Mishkan was erected, was his day of service. So the halacha we're going to mention this morning is the halacha when it comes to kosherizing our houses. We spent a nice amount of time discussing the laws of cleaning our houses. Cleaning our houses is, in some effect, somewhat of a kosherizing of our house. But there are certain utensils in our house that need to be kosherized, kashered, however you want to use the word. It's obviously an invented word, right? So when we kosherize different items, the rule, I'll say the general rule, I'll give a couple specifics, and then we'll get into details during the continuation of this week. But the concept is as follows, and this is brought down in the Talmud as well as in Halacha. Kebol'o kach polto. That the same way that whatever you used became or rendered unkosher, or the way that it absorbed, in our case for Pesach, the hametz, is the same way that it's going to extract it. There's three main categories. The first category, the most stringent category, would be food that is cooked with direct fire. For example, barbecuing, frying, anything on the grates. We would say shpudim, as we say in Hebrew, skewers. All of those items, since the food, which could possibly have been chametz, because again we don't pay attention, so it was probably chametz, gets into direct contact during its cooking with the utensil, the only way to kosherize it is belibun. Libun means literally a blowtorch. Blowtorching it, burning it down. Again, because the fire and the food was in direct contact with no medium, with no intermediate of any type of liquid. And therefore, that is the most stringent required type of item that needs to be kosher. The next is when you do cook with an intermediate of a liquid. For example, pots. Even though there is some food that gets directly touched to pots, but that's not the way you cook in a pot. The way you cook in a pot is with either water or soup or juice or any other type of liquid. Therefore, the way to kosherize that is by hagala. Hagala is when we kosherize through either immersing the pot or utensil we're talking about in hot water, or boiling hot water. If not, we're talking about you have a big pot and you put hot water in it, and then you drop a stone or drop something inside that the water overfills over the lips. These laws are complicated. These laws have to be very specifically reviewed. It's very important that the utensil that you're trying to kosherize is cleaned impeccably and then waited 24 hours and then to kosherize. So nowadays already the tradition is since everything's so available for us, most of us have our own Pesach pots and pans and dishes, which is ideal. But in the event that one does need to kosherize a different item, every item needs its specific way of kosherizing it. Specifically the cleaning of it, especially by the handles, by the nooks and crannies. All hametz has to be rid of there and stay clean for at least 24 hours before we kosherize it. So the first category is utensils that the food gets directly in contact with the utensil. The second category is when food is in contact through a medium of any type of liquid. And the third category is not really kosherizing halachically, it's rather just cleaning. For example, let's say cupboards, fridges. It's very important to make sure pantries, that all of these places are wiped down and clean. It does not need to be done with boiling water. It just needs to be done with water, sometimes soap if it's dirty, but it's cleaning down. So there's the burning, there's the boiling, and then there's just the cleaning and wiping down. And then we'll go through, B'ezrat Hashem, over the week, all the different appliances in our homes, which we don't have another one for Pesach for. All the other utensils we do have, but this one we don't when it comes to the appliances in the house. For example, microwaves is a big question, dishwashers, ovens, stovetops, all of those items. We're on page 645. Page 645 in the white Sidurim. The Nasi Liyom HaShlishi. ביום השלישי נשיא לבני זבולון אליאב בן חילון קורבנו, קרת כסף אחת שלו שיבו 100 משקלה, מזרק אחד כסף 70 שקל ושקל הקודש שניהם מלאים סולת ורב השמן, ומן הכף אחת 10 זמרה קטורת פר אחד, בן בקר אין אחד כבש אחד משנה תוני עונה סיריס אחד לחטאת ובזבח, שלמים בגל שניים בנים 5 עתודים 5 כבשים בני שנה 5. זה קורבן אליאב בן חילון יהי רצון לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ורבותינו שתי חשובה ומרוצה קריאתנו בתורה סדר. קורבן הנשיא אליאב בן חילון משבט זבולון חתום ממידת הוד מלכות, קורבנו אשר הקריב חנוכת מזבחך הקדוש תעלה עלינו כאילו ישגנו כל הסודות וכל שמות הקודש יוצאים מראשי תיבות וסופי תיבות מקרא קודש אלה ונשנה עפרים שפתנו ויעירונה עלינו ועל כל בית ישראל אחינו כל יסוד הקדושה לכל הארץ הקדושים הכלולים בקדושת זה השבט בני מלובשים בקדושת זה השבט להבין ולהשכיל תורתך ויראתך יראת רון ללמוד לעשות את רצונך כרצונך כולים מחיינו אנחנו וזרענו וזה לזרענו שם שבדית את אבותינו מצרים והשכנת את מלאכתך בקרבם בבית זבולך בזכות זבולון כן אדוני אלוהינו בני אבותינו זכור עדתך כן יתקדם וגלותך החל הזה המר והנמהר ובזכות זבולון אשר שכנתך בבית זבול תפארתך תשכון בתוך ירושלים עירך אשר דיברת וחסדת בדבתך ורב תורת תכין קוד גפן זאת דבה כל היום והרינו הוד לטובה הושענו אדוני אלוהינו וקבצנו מנוגעים לדור שם קודשך לשמח ותך והקם לעבדיך ברכת זבולון עמים הר יקראו שם יזבחו זבחי צדק כי שפע ימים ינקו וספוני תמוני חול אדוני צבא עמנו וסגננו קצרה חסין קדוש ברוב תודך נרתך יהיו לרצון ימני בביון לפניך אדוני סברי וגואלים